This year, the Culinary Union, we're celebrating the 90th anniversary. And we feel so proud for almost a century, guys, almost a century. The Culinary Union workers, they stood shoulder to shoulder to fighting for decades. Civil disobedience, rallies, strikes, fighting for contracts. Imagine how many contracts, all 90 years, guys. The Culinary Union had to feel really proud about what they've been doing with the hospitality industry. The hospitality industry is very powerful, but no more powerful than the Culinary Union workers, for sure. It's no more power. And we create jobs, what is the best jobs we feel, because jobs where they protect your family with a good health care, when you have pension, when you retire. I'm old now, guys, and I can talk to you how important it is, the pension, and create jobs where you have fair wages. And the most important part, respect in the job. And this is because all you leaders, great leaders you have, and everybody in this room and the members who they've been fighting for decades. We have to give a big clap to the Culinary Union workers. Now, when you see, I always say, you never see a baby walking right away. No, it takes a lot of work, and that's been a lot of decades. But tonight is very powerful, guys, because in this room, you can see a lot of immigrants. And in the casinos, you can see a lot of immigrants. But in the past, no wasn't the way. And tonight, we're going to have a very powerful history panel. A panel how the immigrants impact the union. How was the changes and what happened? And I know tonight we're going to have warriors where I'm going to introduce you later. I didn't introduce myself yet. For some people I know over 30 years, my name Gio, but my name Geoconda Argüello-Kline. I'm an immigrant too. I came from Nicaragua in 1979, and I started working as a guest room attendant at the Fitzgerald Casino for 7 years. And I worked here at the Culinary Union for 32 years. And I was an organizer, and always I go on to be an organizer. And I was the former president for 10 years, the former secretary-treasurer. I was with my partner, Ted. That's why he looks so young, too. I feel always in my heart very proud, guys, very proud of you, very proud of what we build in Nevada, very proud, but Las Vegas is a union town. And tonight, I'm going to have some of the very powerful people who I know them more than 30 years, all of them. And I'm going to introduce you Cesar Armenta. He's 43 years union member with the Culinary Union. He's from Mexico. Cesar started his career as a kitchen steward at the Barbary Coast when he started with the union. And then he came to work for the Culinary Union in 1990. And imagine all the contract fights Cesar went through and the fights he went through. He's a leader, and he was here and become to be a director in organizing, and now Cesar is retired. And we have Juana Castillo. She's an immigrant too. She's from Nicaragua. She came to the United States in 1985, and she's Culinary Union member for 32 years. The first job was a guest room attendant. She did a career in the industry because she moved to be a bus person, then a change person at the Horseshoe, then a carousel attendant at the Mirage, and then she came over here as an organizer. One is a key leader, you know, in a lot of campaigns, housekeeping campaigns, Horseshoe, she was Horseshoe Striker, and Juana, she was at the Rio campaign, a Latin campaign, a station campaign. She's been in a lot of organizing. And now she's retired. And now we have Pam Fries. Pam, she's original from Thailand. She came to the United States in 1981. She started work as a guest room attendant at the Flamingo Hilton. She had no experience. And then, Pam speaks 4 different languages. And when she was working as a GRA, and she still was speaking the 4 different languages, and she was executive board from the Culinary Union. Pam has been 40 years union member. Noemi Bagen, she's an immigrant from El Salvador. She arrived in the United States in 1986. Noemi, she started working as a guest room attendant at the Sahara. She's not Tefo when she was young. They know each other. And Noemi moved to the Mirage at leading attendant, and she was in a lot of fight too. She was in the Trump fight, station casino organizing, in every contract fight, Noemi been part. And now, she's retired. Noemi, she's been 32 years union member. Victor Juarez, he's a Culinary Union member for 36 years. He started in the hospitality industry in 1989 when he moved from Mexico to Las Vegas. And he's been working at the Circo Cisco forever. He was in the first shop steward training in the 1990, and he's in the executive board of the Culinary Union. We have a great leaders, great panel, great warriors. Now, tonight, they will share their life practically. That's what they will share with you as an immigrant in this country. And this question going to be for all panel. And this question, you guys going to have 2 minutes to answer. And we have, in this question, few questions and one question. First thing is why you moved to Las Vegas? What brought you to Las Vegas? That's one. What was your last job you worked before you start here in the industry? And how was your experience? We're going to start right now with Cesar.
I came to United States when I was 12 years old, and I worked in the fields in Maricopa County, Arizona, and they paid me $1.65 an hour back then. And I'm going to tell you, that was real hard work in the fields. Went to San Joaquin Valley in Fresno, also worked in the fields there. And then moved to Mesquite, Nevada, with a friend that I heard that was jobs in the casino. There was only one casino in Mesquite. It's called the Western Village. I worked there as a kitchen worker. But I came to Las Vegas because I heard there was really good jobs in the casinos. And I used to live around the Union on Fairfield Street, right there. And I used to cross through there, going to work at that Denny's restaurant across the street from the Stratosphere. And they only paid me $3.25 an hour, non-union job. And it was real hard. I did like 2-3 jobs, busboy, dishwasher, and storage. I'm telling you, I used to walk by the union, and I dreamed to become a member of the union because I heard that it was a good pay, and there was breaks, and there was uniforms. It was something that I didn't know about. But when I saw these guys with a uniform, I dreamed to have a uniform. I saw him with a bow tie, and I saw him with white shirts and vest, and I was like, someday I can work in the hotel, dream about working in the hotel. So when I got my documents, I went to the union, And I joined the union, and I was sent to work at the Barbary Coast. And I started working there. I couldn't believe it. All the good things that we had in there. I was not used to having a 1 hour break. And have my uniform, nice uniform. And I want to tell you the overtime, all those things that I didn't know about. Because working in a union, they never pay me overtime. They never give me a break, right? And food, you don't get food. You don't get a lunch break, you know. So when you go to work in a union, you have to eat before you go to work. And I'm gonna tell you, becoming a union member was the best thing ever. And went through a lot, but becoming a union member and work hard in the hotel, I was able to move forward. And later on become not only a member of the union, but organizing.
Okay. Now, Juanita.
Well, I came to Las Vegas in 1985, you told you already. But my first job, I came to Las Vegas because my sister was already here in Las Vegas, okay? I came straight from Nicaragua. You know, the reason we leave the country is for political problems, you know? You know, still Nicaragua has a lot of problems, you know, and back there it was worse. Well, the reason I came to Las Vegas because my sister was already here, but and she was already working at the Circus as a GRA. But my first job that I did was I was cleaning construction house. The guy coming to pick it up me 6 o'clock in the morning and be back like at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, okay?
Juanita,
No lunch. With no lunch, okay, all day. I was there almost for 3 months, you know, doing the job until I get my permit to work. Then my sister said, we got to go to the union and to register on the union. But, you know, if you want to get a job in the union, you have to start as a GRA. And I said, fine. I think it was a piece of cake. And I said, fine, I go. And, well, my first day I was at the Circus. They sent me to the Circus. I got the lady who was training me for a couple days. I remember Cuban lady, very nice. And then after the 2 days, you said, there is your key, and you got 17 room. 17 room, and your room is not in the same floor. You have to go pick in different floor. And I said, oh my God. Well, I went and started cleaning the room. By 4:30, I supposed to get off at 4:30, but I still have 2 rooms left. And the lady who was training me said, you know, you haven't finished your room. And I said, no. And I didn't even take my lunch. Well, she started helping me to finish and I can get out. The next day, same thing. The next day was the same thing, you know. Oh my God, 17 room. At the Circus, a family casino, you know that. We have a crack, we have a rollaway, and we have to make all those rollaway to give it to the house person. It was an easy job. I never took a lunch. For 3 months, I never took a lunch. I start 8 o'clock in the morning and to 4:30 with no lunch. When I get home, my sister say, are you hungry? And I say, no, I'm not hungry. I want to take a shower and go to bed. That's how tired I was. That's my story to be here in Vegas for the first time. Okay?
Pam? Why you came to Vegas, Pam?
I came Las Vegas in 1972, and then I moved to.
You had to speak out.
I moved to was Sacramento. Like my ex-husband, he was in the military, and then so he go that station there, and then after that we moved to North Carolina. He retired, and so we go to North Carolina. And I was looking for a job, okay, I want to do something for me, for myself, for my, her, my daughter, right there. She was little, I want to do something, but seemed like I ain't got no job, no fun, nothing. And finally, then I work in a factory. The factory at that time, it was $2.30, 10 cents. $2.10, right? it wouldn't be enough to do anything. Just take her babysitter, it's all gone actually. And then all of a sudden, and then I see another company that do no nonsense pennyhole. And no nonsense pennyhole, they pay 10 more cents, no, 20 more cents. It's at 2.30. I moved from this one because I was hunting for money to raise my family, right? And then so finally, it's nothing work out. And, you know, it just like you make production. You have to sow like 60,000 a day, you know. But I made it. I was good about that. I was so proud of myself. I did that, but then it just is not good enough. So finally, I said, I moved to California. 1979. I moved to California and I stayed with my sister and stayed there for a while. I looked for a job. California was in North Carolina, I think. There was no job. And then finally I moved to, I stayed Riverside, California, and I had to go work at Santa Ana. It's 1 hour each way to come back. And I only make like $3.50 an hour. So finally, I just say it don't make. I just pay for the gas and go back, and no money left, just a little bit left. And then I go, what I gonna do? I keep moving around. I keep move here, move there, and I felt so bad myself. And then I heard somebody saying that, said, "Hey, Mom, are you from Las Vegas?" I said, "Where? What Las Vegas? What you talking about?" And I said, "You can get job there. I know you can get, just like she's saying that. The first time you probably get a housekeeping work." I said, well, you know, I go. I said, next day I drove from there to, to Las Vegas. And then I stay apartment. The lady upstairs, she was talking to me. She had 5 kids. And she said, "Hey, Pom, do you want to work?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I moved out here for." I said, "What is it, And she said, she's a union. And then she said, "Hey, you know what, you want to work?" She was work for Mingo Hilton. I said, "Yes, I do. I heard about they get a job, this and that." I said, "And you help me?" Yeah, I help you. I said, "Well, I don't have experience, She said, "Don't worry about it. Well, she put the application. She lied. She said, "I have experience 1 year in California." I said, "Are you serious? You really gonna do that?" Say, "Yeah, you do that." And I said, "Okay, no longer I get a job, but how I gonna do that? I have the special baby, How I gonna do that?" And she said, "You know what? You take care of my baby. I take care of your baby." I said, "Well, hey, that worked out. She got 5 kids. And I only have 1. I said, "Okay, I'll do it. I agree with you." And so anyway, I go, I never didn't work my housekeeping all my entire life, right? And then so I go there. They hire me next day. From Mingo, they hire me next day. I said, "What? Oh, that's good." I go to work, and then they have the lady. They're going to train me, right? They say they're going to train you. "Oh, I have experience, And then she said, "Okay, come on." Like that. The curtain was closed. It was so dark in the room. I said, "What the heck? What I should do?" I don't know. I just stand there, I would just stand there, watch her, what she gonna do. And then she looked at me. She knew right away. I don't know. And then she said, "Pom, you know what I do?" She said, she opened the curtain, and then she showed me. I said, "Oh, yeah, I opened the curtain, and then she said, "Take the garbage out and then scrub the bed." I said, "Oh, yeah, that's right." I was just doing it, and she knows that. She didn't tell me until later. She said, "Pom."
Stop. Sorry, guys, but we had to remind her.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, nice.
Oh, that's
Exciting.
great.
Yeah, exciting. Yeah.
Noemi, why you moved to Las Vegas, and what was the last job before you started working in the industry, and how was your experience?
Well, the reason I came in the United States in 1983 to California, Over there in California, I make a different kind of job. Wherever job, I make it over there. But I hear about Las Vegas because over there in California, they pay like 3 and something per hour, 3. And I remember the small check I receive, okay? And I work in like 2 jobs always. I work in 2 jobs. I go out the one and go into the other. And then somebody told me, let's go to my brother. They said, let's go to Las Vegas. I don't like Las Vegas. let's go. And well, my mother, they said, Luis, he wanna go Las Vegas. Why you wanna stay over here? Yeah, I wanna go Las Vegas. And I come into Las Vegas. And my first job over here is no union. I went to the laundry, okay? The laundry. I remember I working in Western, some laundry. Oh, it's very hard to working over there. Bad condition, really bad condition. You need to bring your lunch and eating in wherever place over there. It's very hard to working when you don't have union, okay? And I say one day, because I start 1 o'clock in the morning and I don't have car in this moment, okay? It's very hard for me. Take the bus and everything, okay? 1 o'clock in the morning is hard. And somebody told me, why you don't go to the union and request? Yeah, I know, I hear about the union. And I went to the union and they sent me to the Sahara, okay? In the Sahara in this time, and then I said, well, I want to go. And you know everything about room attendant, guest room attendant. GRAs? No, but I learning fast. It's okay. Do you thinking this is the easy job you can take it? Yeah, okay, easy job, okay. And but it's very hard. It's not easy for anybody. It's not easy for any. Like Pan, I hear it's not easy for anybody. And you know what? In the Sahara, they give me like a 3 tower, and they give me 17. Like 17. You don't have time for eating, okay? You don't have time for eating, okay? And 3 tower, okay? And my English is really bad. If now it's bad, in the other time, oh my God, it's not easy, okay? And all the supervisors different English, the supervisor, okay? And it's hard to listen, okay? And one day I say, you know what is the reason giving 17 room, okay? It's not fair for anybody. I learned, and I said, it's not fair, it's not right. 17 room, different tower, and it's every day 17 room. Every day check out room. It's very hard, okay? And then, well, when I come I move into the, I remember I own call. And when I went to talking with the supervisors and asking about why the reason, they don't call me anymore, okay? And I went for talking, okay? And I went to the union again, and then they say, go to the Mirage. Okay, I wanna go, and I went to over there to fill it out my application. It's a big application, remember? And this time we don't have any computing like this. And then always, I remember always I say my child this, when I fill it out application, I put it over there. I don't know wherever, I fill it out, the application, I don't know how I fill it, but I fill it out, okay? And this time, I put in the last page, please give me job. I have 3 children.
Okay, Noemi, we love you, but we have to pass the microphone. Okay, Victor, you had the same question. Why?
Buenas tardes. Sí, llegué aquí a Las Vegas in 1988, and one of the first jobs I worked was on construction, cleaning the apartments they finished, but that was very hard because we had to work early and very cold, and my fingers, and I said no. So my first job and the union, I work in a Rancho Casino, and I worked there 3 months, and then the chef say, "Do you want to keep working?" I said, "Yes." "Okay, come back tomorrow." So to send you to the union again. So I work another 3 months and do the same thing. I said, "You want to keep working?" I said, "Yes." And I said, no, something is wrong right here. So I went to the union, and you got to get early over there. And when they start calling for the job, they say, we have a position for 2 weeks vacation at Circus. And I said, well, I got to go, but nobody wants to go for 2 weeks. I said, no, I go. So now I go over there and I apply and start working since there until now. So that was the way I started working at the union. And then I started asking how the things work at the union and what the benefits and the rights that we have. Because I explained another co-workers what happened at the rancho. They say, no, they shouldn't do that. So, and I said, no, I want to learn the union rights, for the employees. So and that's why I started getting involved as a shop steward, and that's the way that.
Okay, thank you. Now we're gonna have some question, and it's gonna be for Juana, for Pam, and Noemi. How difficult was to work in the casino when you don't speak English that well, or you don't speak English at all? How really was the situation in there in that time?
I think for any immigrant, when we come into this country, we not speak English, Like Noemi say, my English is been now, imagine 40 years back. And the first thing I think was very hard is because the language, we cannot communicate easily. And most of the supervisors, and they are Caucasian and African American. We don't have many supervisors speaking Spanish, That's the hardest part for us. Because I think for that reason, as an immigrant, they taking advantage of that. Because we cannot have a good communication with the supervisor. They keep it more, is the hardest job to the immigrant. I don't know if as a GRA, you know that. When you not speak English, and now we have a more supervisor that speak Spanish. But back then, we don't have that. All the supervisor was Caucasian and African American. That's the hardest part for us. But at the long run, we need a job. We don't have no choice. We have to do whatever it takes to feed our family, to support our family. And we don't have no choice. But the union make it different for us. Now we have a union language in the country. We have a union protection for the GRA. But that time, we don't have nothing. And thanks for the union, make a better life for the working family.
Pam, how difficult was for you when you started working inside the Mirage? Because the language and, not many people are from Asian in there either, or Latinos in that time, or the another ethnic groups, and you don't speak English that well. How was for you?
Well, it is hard actually, and because if they want you to understand what the guests telling you or ask you, right? And things like that, and then I don't speak that much, because when you come here, but you just like, it is struggle. It is hard. It's really hard, and I mean, it just sometimes it's just like struggle. For me, it does, because I don't know what to say. I don't know how to do the right thing or making them to understand how I feel, But I did try to learn, and I go to school. I do that, And I still have a problem with writing. And I still have a problem with writing, But I can speak a little bit better, and I was. But just like she said, it's hard, when you don't speak. But, when you come out here, you learn better. So when I say, you speak, she told me. She said, you need to learn. I said, well, you teach me then. I said, come on, helping me. You know, I love someone to help me to do things, do it right, right? And I worked in manners. No, I've been with her, what, maybe all my life, I think. No, I'm older than you. So that's what it was. Then, like supervisor, when they want to tell you something, and it seemed like that they don't like you so much when you don't speak, because they want you to say like, okay, this room, that room, one thing you could go clean or something like that, right? And then they just like attitudes bad towards you. Yeah. It just like, oh, already, man, I didn't.
Give it to Noemi. What kind of experience you feel about that?
Well, when you work in the casinos, it's very hard when you don't speak in English, okay? Because especially we are a pronunciation is not like fluent, okay? And it's hard when you are communication with your supervisors, especially in this time, because we don't have too many people speaking Spanish over there. We don't have too much supervisor, okay? But well, it's hard, and you can feel discrimination. We can say we can feel discrimination, okay? And they not respect your rights, okay? And that's what the union they doing, okay? Because when they, in 2002, they win the language, housekeeping language, okay? We feel more respect, because before, you can go to the EDR and you can see all the group dispersing, okay? Kitchen working, GRAs and everything from in the house, they don't sit with us, okay? Because we don't speak in good English, okay? They know everybody, except if you are a friend. He's my friend, always, for life, okay? And the Mirage, okay? And that's what we feel now, the union, they change the life for everybody, okay?
Now, this question is for Victor and Cesar. How you start involved in the union, Victor and Cesar? Cesar, how you start involved in the union?
I started getting involved in the contract fight. I did not know anything about that when the organizers got there. And I started getting involved and come to meetings and learn how we were going to do this big fight that didn't know where to start, what to do, but the organizers were good. And it was tough. It was really difficult, was getting a contract. And not knowing that and started building the committee is something new for me that never heard about. Committee leader, become a committee leader, and have my 10 people back then that I have to go through. And the boss did not like us to be organized. But when we got to negotiations and we started really the fight, that's what it was, a fight. It was not easy to get what we have. And to build what we have to really get involved, a hardcore, real fight. And it was so hard was the management, because the management attacked every moment that they had an opportunity. You had union pin, they take union pin off. And the screw up was my brakes, and the screw up was my schedule. The screw up was everything, but did not give up. And it was a manager that was real bad, and he's a Cuban guy, and he did not know what to do. The direction of the management was the workers when we got involved in the committee. And he tried to stop us from organizing. He took me to the office and opened the cabinet and pulled out a gun. And he's showing me a 9mm. And he's telling me, he goes, you know, this is for those people who do not want to do what the boss likes over here. And I couldn't believe what he was saying. And I was scared, real scared. And I went to the office, purchasing office, and there was Mario, a sous chef there, and he followed me. He went over there, and he says, you know what? He was looking at me mainly. He goes, you know what? I can kill the kids and the whole family if people don't do what we want them to do. And I was like stunned. I was so scared. And the guy that was there, the sous chef, also was scared. So I went and filed a police report department. I went to the police department and filed a report because I was so scared. There was some direction from the union and that to protect myself. And that was really good. We did a conference in front of the hotel, and he just got a slap in the wrist. That's all it was. They did not fire him. They didn't do anything to him. He disappeared for a couple of weeks, and then he went back to work. That's how it was. The owners of the hotel back then, it was no corporations. It was the families, and they were real bad. They were up to busting the union. There was a war in town that they were going to bust the union. There was not going to be no union town. Here who was going to rule Las Vegas was going to be the families, Jack Binion, the Gans, the Lardis, all those were families. There was no corporations. And they were up to really busting the union. Doing those things that they did to me, I want to tell you, it's all the worst things that actually happened that we can tell you later on down the road, that they got us to go to jail, and when we went picketing, they did not treat us really good. We didn't have no political action. They just threw us in jail. But we made it to where we are now.
You know, in that time, guys, no political power. The police no respect anybody. The industry was the power. The culinary workers make the power, you know, and control the industry. But in reality, no was any support. Now we have Victor. How you involved in the union, Victor? How was the time you started involved in the union?
Yeah, like I said, I see all the injustice that happen, and when I get involved in the union, my first LOA that I did was going to work at the Venetian, the Grand Lux Cafe. So that was my first LOA. So while I was working there, the schedule, we have a schedule, and when I was busy, they don't let you go. And I said, well, I have another job, we gotta go. They said, no, you gotta stay. And when that was slow, and they said, you gotta go. I said, I get off at 3. No, you gotta go now. So when they see the people don't leave, they go and clock you out. So I find out that later, and then that was several stations, and the station that was working on the broiler, we were 3 people, and we do rotations. And one day, there was white people was working on the broiler, and I was doing prep, and he has to leave at 1 o'clock. So at 1 o'clock I came to replace him. There was a lot of tickets, and then soon as I step in, like not even 30 seconds, the chef came in. Come on, what are you doing? I said, I just got here. No. And he called the other chef on the radio, and I get mad, and I said, well, so I said, you want to work? Just do it. You do it. And I leave. But the problem was there, the majority of the people who was working in that restaurant, they didn't have papers. That's why they didn't say nothing. Because one lady said, Victor, look, they pay me okay right here, and I don't have papers. If the union come in, I'm not going to have a job. So that's why people don't say nothing, and they do what they say. And I said, and that's why I started getting involved in the union. And since then, I've been in all these negotiations with the corporations, and and we see the benefits that we've been having, keeping for another people that came before us, because that's why we had to teach the new people how the unions form in order to have what we have. They think that it's free, but no, we had to do a lot of sacrifice to have the benefits that we have now.
Okay. All right. This question is going to be for Cesar, Victor, and Juanita. Cesar, how was the change demographic in the union from the time you started in the 90s? What was the ethnic groups in that time?
The ethnic groups back then, it was a lot of African American, right? And there were some Cubans, but the Latinos from different parts of that Vegas, we had many other ethnic groups, right? But mainly it was African American in the casino industry. And we started the movement and the change was Latinos as really moving forward, and our union became more powerful. And the group was Latino community, where we started getting really involved in the union. And the way to do that is really to build the power of the union is united, all ethnic groups, united to move forward, to learn about our union and fight for our union, right? To get what we have is nothing but a fight, and always will be a fight. And it'll be a challenge every time. The challenges will be bigger and bigger challenges, but I'm going to tell you that there's no other way for our union to move forward but to build the committees and organize in a big way what we are doing now. And that's how we have grown up to this point right now. But we can be more powerful if we educate our members and learn about what it takes to get the benefit that we have through organizing. Because that's the key. The key is organizing and getting involved and fight for it.
Well, okay, Juanita, what ethnic group was in the casinos before we start more immigrants in the casinos?
Oh, well, in 1987, I moved to the Horseshoe, and I get a job as a chain person. But the majority of the chain person was Caucasian or African American. They know. And then, that was in 1987. Then in 1990, we went to the contract because the casino, they don't want to sign the contract. Jack Binion, he refused to sign the contract. It was hard to move the people, to tell the people, we have to get together. We have to, I remember Dave Cordova was my organizer at the time, and Barbara Maher, I think she was there too. And I was talking to my coworkers. I said, we need to be together, we have to be strong, because if we don't get together, we're going to lose everything what we have. We need to have insurance. We have to have a job security. We need to have a pension. And we are a contract. We're not going to get nothing. And that's why I start organizing my coworkers and my chief. And then we come into different meetings, to the union with Jack Binion. But he refused to sign the contract. We ended in contract fight. That is another push to organize our co-workers, to make it then strong and believe it. We are a union, we're not going to get nothing. We're going to lose everything. And that's how I start to get involved with the union, to organize my co-workers. And most of them, they say, well, how are they going to be? I have 3 children, and I don't have a husband. I'm single mother, and I don't going to have money to buy my food. And it was hard those days, to make the people, the only way we can protect what we have is organizer. Be the workers together. If the workers be together, we can be any company. They try to destroy us. And I want to give you one advice to everybody. That's my last. You never give up. Never stop fighting for your right, because it's the only way you're going to get a protection.
Hey, Victor, the question is for Victor. How was the changes of the union in that time? What kind of ethnic group they work in the casinos?
Yeah, I remember they said in those 80s, at the end of the 80s, the union has like 10,000 members. And when I start seeing, they start growing. And at the beginning, we see only whites or black people working, and you had to work with them. But with the time passed, you see the union was growing, more people, Latinos or speaking Spanish people coming, and we start getting better and better. And that's the only way we have what we have right now, because the way that we organize. We got to get together and push people that they don't know or they don't want to do it. I said, look, this is what we have. We don't want to lose what other people want for us. My main thing was the insurance, because I said when took my first kid born, I only paid $200 for my child, because the insurance, we have a double coverage. So, and that was one of the reasons that we do that.
Okay. I'm going to have this question for you guys. What are you thinking, how we put everybody together? What was the fight saying? You believe the union start to move in with the Asian, the Latinos, the African Americans, everybody got stronger and stronger. What do you think it was? The fights you went through. Okay, I can start with you, Victor.
Okay, one of the things that I remember, one of the cooks that were there a long time ago, they say he not fighting, but argue with the other cooks and he say, no more wetbacks. Everybody's the same. When they try to take advantage of they try to do this, do that. And the guy said, no more wetbacks. Everybody's the same thing. So we start getting together, and like I say, we had to let people know, especially the young guys, let them know how the unions became, why we have what we have right now, because I don't think they have a clue how the way that we have right now. I work in different political LOAs, and it's a sacrifice being outside in 120 degrees working on the streets, but they don't know. They say, why we had to do with the politics? We got to do the same thing as the companies does, because if we don't do the same thing, it's why they get in ahead of us. And it's a sacrifice being on the street from 9 o'clock in the morning to 6, 7 in the night. You get home and all you have to do is get a shower and fall asleep. But that's hard to keep what we have.
What was the fight we thinking put together the front, the back of the house, Porter and everybody?
I think that the fight that we put all the members together I'm sorry. The fight we put the members together was in 2002, when we start organizing the housekeeping campaign. And how we get involved with the front of the house, cook, food service, it wasn't easy. It's a big organizing role that we have. But I think things for the housekeepers, they was very strong at that time to move everybody together, and that's why we built a big organization inside the casino. I think so the housekeeping campaign was the main point to get what we have right now, because that's when we got all the workers together. The foods, I remember we have a hard time to organize the cocktail waitress, bartender, food and service. I know I have a lot of co-workers that used to be there at the Mirage. I was a union organizer at the Mirage at that time. I came to the union in 1998, and I started Rio, external organizer. It wasn't easy. And then I was to the Aladdin, external organizer too. But in 2002, that was the big organizing right we have internal inside of the casino. And I think that was the main point, housekeeping, organizing.
Any Cesar or Pam?
I remember when we was 2002, right? We organizing, and it is like she said, we was work really hard to get everybody to come out and stand up for the language, housekeeping language. And we did that, Thank Joe too. She was there.
Thank you too.
And Myrna was there, and Ted too, right?
Yeah.
Ted?
Yeah.
And I mean, we all there, and what is it, like 1,000, huh? May is the main one in the hotel. We the one that backed them up. The rest of them, they're kind of scared. But after you talk to them, they say, oh, yeah, let's go, you know. I say, hey, let's go. I'm the one that get the security and take me away all the time. I say, wait a minute here. I said, you're not going to touch me, you understand? And then they was telling me, say, what's your name? I said, you know my name. I said, and then he asked me, the Etamarat. And then he said, can you give me ideas? And I don't need to give you nothing, okay? I don't need to give you nothing. You know me and I know you, I said. And then the president at the hotel, he came down. And he said, Tom, what you doing? I said, you see what we're doing? He said, you think you need to go to work? I said, no, we don't. I said, we're going to stay right here until we solve the problem. I said, that's why we're here. And he said, oh, you really? Yeah. Oh, thank you. I said, we're here on purpose. And then they take one of my shop steward. They take, I forgot her name now, it's been so long. And they take her, security take her. And they take her to the office. And I looking for her. And then, you know, the housekeeping started to get scared. They started, I said, hey, where you all going? I said, nobody leave, nobody behind. You understand that? I said, are you going to doing this or you don't? I said, you're going to stay right here. They all come back. I was so loud, you know, I screamed my lung out, okay? I did. And then so security come up. I said, you let her out, coming out right now. And then the vice president come out and said, well, you all need to go work. I said, no, we don't. I said, you have to let that my job store coming out. If you don't, we're going to stay right here. We're not going to go work. Mm-mm. And I said, nobody go to work until I say so. And then I tell them that. I do. I tell them. And then they said, Palm, Palm said, we're not going to go nowhere. That's right. I said, that's why we're here, and we're going to stand right here. And if I forgot the vice president name, and he come hug me. I said, no, I don't need your hug. I said, I don't need your hug. I said, I need you to solve this problem. And he did, though. We come out, we solve the problem. Got that.
Okay, I'm going to have a question for all you guys, for all the panel. How the union change your life your family, everything. What is your experience in that?
It was really a good experience, and how the change happened was me and my family when I started getting involved, and I learned that we cannot make it with the benefits that we have. This is the best benefits that everyone should have. The main thing was with me is and I think Victor mentioned it right, and the insurance was the kids, because the kids go to a doctor, and we didn't even pay hardly any back then any money, and then we start making copays, but it was so small copays that something that I didn't have when I was in a union, right? And that was a big change for me. And I learned that our union, that was going to be the best thing for our members, was the benefits. And the main part that made me fight for what we have was not going to lose for nothing in the world. I was going to let the owners to take away my contract with my benefits. It was my kids. I feel protected. And when I learned that owner of the hotel was going to stop and don't give us a contract, and we're going to put us under his benefits, man, he shouldn't have done that. We really got into a big fight. I mean, a fight. We went outside and picketed and organized, and I'm telling you, we did rallies with the delegations. We did everything possible to get a contract. And that was the one thing that I can tell you I was not going to allow anyone to take away from me. Those are the benefits.
Okay, Juanita, how the union changed your life?
The union changed my life big time, because thanks for the union, like Cesar said, we have a good insurance, we have a pension, we have a good benefit, we have a protection, job protection. We are a union, maybe I don't get nothing, but thanks for the union, I bought my house. I was a union worker when I got my house in 1992. And if I don't have no union, I don't think so I'll be able to buy a house, But thanks for the union, because I have protection, I have a good pay, I have a good benefit. I got my house. And I feel proud to say that, because all my family, I don't have no kid, but my sister has 3 kids. And thanks for the union, she take care of her family. And she take care of herself. They protect every single human being. They work in the union. They don't have to worry what is going to be next to the next day, because we are a union. I was organizing at the Station Casino, and I tell you, I can see the big difference between union and no union.
Okay.
It's total different.
Right, I know we can be all night talking about that. We're going to have Pam. How, Pam, how the union changed your life?
Well, almost the same what she did, because it's guarantees work. And that's its count. And, I love it. I mean, union never back up. That's why I like about it. I never back up either, believe me. I ain't going to do that for nobody. I mean, it's my right?
Yeah.
It's our right to fight for. I learned that from Mona. Mona teach me that. You stand up for yourself, right? You do everything for yourself. It's not against the law. This is our right, so we stand up for that. That's what I want to say. Oh, I have one thing to tell you that I work at Desert Inn. The one, some people don't want to join union, okay? They say, oh, union didn't do nothing for me. Don't do this, do that. I say, hello, don't say that. Because it's not true. You have guarantees work, have 8-hour job because union. I say, you get raised for the union, they give, the company giving me that. Really? You fighting for? We fighting for all about fighting for the. That's how you get that. You understand that? I said. If you don't, you go ask your children 5 years old. They understand you better than that. I got mad every time when somebody talked to me like that. Okay.
Okay, Pam. Noemi, how the union change your life?
Well, the union changed bigger my life, okay? Because the first, we are buy a house, okay? Okay? They give me when you in the job, we are working with right, with dignity, okay? Because we have a contract and respect for for everybody, because we have a union. When you say union, it's respect, okay? And that's so we need to continue to doing, okay? Respect. Because our standard of living we have over here in the cities is because we have union, okay? Okay? And we need to respect our standard of living we have. And nobody want to come in. Because I was, like Juanita said, I was staying in the campañas, no union, okay? And it's hard over there. You can hear a lot of working. They have problem because when they give it termination, they don't have any more insurance. Tú eres in the middle of the night in the station casino, okay? Over here is the big difference, okay? We have respect, we have for everybody, and we need everybody, the young person, continue to take care of our standard of living we have over here in the cities.
Victor?
Yeah, the difference is the standard of living is on the negotiations. The first thing that the union focuses the economic package is the job security. You know, like you're gonna have you 40 hours, and in order to fire you, they're gonna have to have a good excuse. Like I've been fired 2 times from Circus. The last time I was out for 7 months, and my case went to arbitration, and thanks to the union, we won, and they bring me back with back pay. So, and then so the money we make, that's a good money to afford to get a house, buy your own car, and try to live decent and not worry. But right now it's a little worry because the things that happen right now, but still we can make it thanks to the union.
Okay. I'm going to have only 2 or 3 of you, answer this question. What do you think we had to do as a union to do better? Better union.
Well, it's like we been saying, teach to the new kids, or push them to do what other people did it in the past. You know, giving more information and let them know that the steps that we have to do it in order we have what we have. That way they can have a little background what we did, in order not losing that we have, because it's been very hard to have what we have right now, the benefits and the security on the job.
Juanita, I had that question for you. What do you think we could do?
I think we have to keep in the training and child steward training, because that's how we teach the union history, because we have a lot of new members now. They don't know the fight, they don't know the struggle the union been through to get what we have right now. I think we have to continue those classes. I know Cesar and myself, we used to teach the history, union history class. And I think it's very good to continue that part, because the new member has to learn how the union being so strong, 90 years, like we have an anniversary, 90 years. But for day one, we are the organizer, we are teaching our new members the union history. They think they have it everything, they taking advantage there, because I've been an organizer inside the casino, and the new members say, oh, you don't worry. I pay $40, at that time about $41 for the union member, and they said, I got everything. I'm sorry, my dear, that's not true. We are fighting. You don't have what we have right now. And I think we have to start teaching in the child steward class the union history. That is very important, I think that.
Okay, Cesar?
Well, I think that the union is only strong as our members getting involved. And without that, if we don't get our union move forward in that way, where the members learn about our union, that is freedom is not for free. You have to fight for it.
Yeah.
We have to fight for it, and we all fight for it. Our leadership taught us how to fight for it, and we learn from them. And I want to tell you that we really have to get our members to get involved and participate in every way they can, whether it's actions, rallies. It's always a fight. It's always a fight there. Right now it's a fight, right? Somewhere here in the union, we have a fight with someone of the hotels, right? And on the daily basis, it's a fight. And the workplace is a fight.
Okay.
It's a fight during working time, organizing your co-workers to do delegations to respect our contract. The contract is only a document. If we don't fight to have them respect our rights that we have, right and rights that we have in the contract.
Okay, Cesar, thank you. And I had to tell you one thing. Now we're going to have questions from you guys to everybody over here. To see, okay, we have question. Can you make your question?
Mi pregunta es para Víctor. ¿Cuál es su sentir ahora que nosotros en el Venetian logramos tener reunión?
Pues es un gran triunfo porque, como le dije yo, mi primer LOA fue organizar en un restaurante que se llama el Gran Luz Café. En la mayoría de los empleados de ahí no tenían documentos, entonces esa era una de las razones por qué no querían luchar. Entonces, cuando estábamos luchando contra el Venetian, inclusive él no nos dejaba caminar en la acera porque decía que él que era dueño de él. Y pues el seguir luchando y luchando, pues qué bueno que ahora son parte de nosotros y ya ven las diferencias que hay en ser miembro de unión y no ser miembro de unión.
Right.
Can I
Dan?
question? Okay. So, guys, I know there may be some other questions, but I want to try to get my question in before we end. Like, I want to ask Juana and Palm because, like, I want to go back to the organizing you did when you were workers inside the hotel. And, Juana, you said you were a change person, I remember at the Horseshoe,
Yes.
but there weren't a lot of Latina change persons. They were mostly white and black. So
Yeah.
how did you, we know how we are when we're in the hotels. The whites sit with the whites a lot of time, black with the black, Latino with Latino, Asian with the Asian. It happens a lot. But how do we, and especially if you are trying to organize workers and, you don't speak the same language maybe as they do or whatever, or you had learned, but what did you do to try to break the barriers? And I want to ask the same thing of Palm, but what did you, when you were getting ready to go on strike, how did you do it? And what did you say to get the workers to trust you from other racial groups?
Well, it was very hard because I remember I was talking to my coworkers, we are in break, and they say, I don't want to go in a strike because, I'm at the Horseshoe we make good tip. I remember, it was it's a lot of local members they come in, and it wasn't easy, but like I say, I never give up. I said it with the coworker one by one. And if I have another coworker, they speak English better than me, I use it. And come on, you need to talk to this lady. I think she don't understand what I say. And I have a few workers that was Latino, but they speak good English, And that's how I use, to communicate. When I come into the union and have a meeting, and I saw, Maria, you have to come with me. I need to talk to this lady. I don't think so. She don't want to go in strike because she's afraid. She said is a single mother. She have many kids. And I think you have to be persistent there. Because if I say, oh, no, Pam, they don't want to listen to me. No. You never give up. If you have a hard time with your language, using your coworker to explain. When you come into the meeting to the union and you have all the information that you need to bring it back to the hotel, just talk to your other coworker. They speak English. Come on, let's go with me. Every single worker has to get involved because at the Horseshoe, we get almost 80% of my coworkers, they went on a strike with me.
Thanks, Juana. Palm, can I ask you this one last question? Palm, there weren't that many Asian ladies. There were some, but not very many in housekeeping. And a lot of other folks were English speakers, or we had Latino workers too. Back in 2002, a lot of Latino workers. How did you break the barriers? Because people don't like to sit together. We don't mix. But when it comes time to fight, we got to figure out how to get people to join up together no matter what.
Yeah. I remember it. You know what I've seen that they're doing that like they divide each other actually. As the Mexicans stay here and Asian right here, Spanish right there, or whatever, and things like that. Then when I go in, sometime I'm not even eat breakfast because I need to talk to these people. And then when I get in there, I say hello, how are you? How's everything? How's it going? Things like that, And they're telling me, and then I start to tell them. I say, hey, you know what? Say, come on with me. I say, sometimes you gotta look, right? Like she said, you gotta look. Say, who's willing to stand up too? Sometimes I always go the one that really gonna get up first. That way, that person can help me with others. That's what I think. It worked. It's worked like that. Because I have one, I was organized, earlier? And then Filipino people, like 12 people, sitting at the same table. And then I was going in, and then I was going to go in there and talk to that table. And they have one lady stand up, she's Filipino too, all Filipino. She said, what are you doing here? She told me. I said, well, I would like to talk to you guys. I said, good morning. I said, how y'all doing? I said, and then she was like, I don't want to talk to you, Nan. Some people attitudes stink. It really does. I mean, it's just like piss me off, excuse my language, okay? And then I said, wait a minute. I said, I was just going to talk to that lady over there, but you stand up like, what's your problem, honey? You have problem? Mostly if I have problem, I leave that at home. I said, you come here to work, honey. Don't be like that. That's not look nice. You look so beautiful, but you look ugly when you talk like that. I did. I say that because it pissed me off, okay? And then, so that all of it, she was trying to organize that table. You don't talk to her. She getting paid for it. I said, if I do, if I don't, it's not your business, actually. I said, you got a problem. You know that, honey? I said, you need to be quiet, I said. And then, so guess what? That all of them on table stand up for me. They say, I know Palm. Say, what's your problem? I said, you don't talk to Palm like that. Say, Palm, come on, sit down over here, she said. And I said, okay, I sit down. Then they kicked that lady off somewhere. So I don't know where she go. Yeah, I mean, and I got to work, and I've been organized to one person in there, and then so that one person stand up protecting me,
Woo, that's great.
and I got it. Yeah.
Okay, you have a question.
First and foremost, I respect each and every one of you. Hello? Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. I respect each and every one of you.
Get this microphone.
I'm an upper.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Yes.
There we go. All right. I'm an up and coming shop steward at the Fountain Blue, and I recognize Fountain Blue. I sat in every meeting as a committee leader, and as a shop steward, you often face opposition. The union doesn't do anything. You see the racial differences and cultural differences, and you know the one thing that if you could give up and coming shop steward some advice, because it takes character. The sum total distinguishing qualities of a person, place, trait, or thing. In other words, what we do, right? So what is the advice you could give me to motivate my coworkers that don't want to be motivated to fight?
Victor, I think you've been shop steward from the 1990.
So you have to keep talking and talking to the people, find a way, because sometimes with one word, it's going to change. And like, we had to forget about, like, they say, oh, the blacks or the whites. No, now it's different, because with the time we find out that every culture, we have something common. And we had to get together. Now we see the blacks and the whites and the Mexicans, not the Caucasians, they start getting together, you know, for little things, the food or meetings and things like that. And there is no more discrimination. There is some, but because the union is equal everybody, so we had to keep that, like keeping the people. You have to keep talking and find a way to ask the person what is your problem, or what do you do in your country, or what issues do you have, and then maybe with some word that you say, they're gonna get it and they change.
Never give up.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question here, guys. The microphone has a little problem.
Yes, hello. I thank you for all your experience. I'm an employee at the MSG Sphere, and we're going through a process right now, negotiating with them, and having a little problem, but we're getting there. And what advice or recommendation you give me to, like you said, talk to my coworkers and get them involved, because you know we're fighting, but you know we need your help.
Okay, who want to answer that one, guys?
Well, you can talk it with your co-working, and I say, what is the reason you want union? Okay, what is the reason you want union? Okay, I want union because you want to answer. I want union because I want better life. Okay, better insurance. Okay, I think you fight for something. Okay, give me the reason. Okay, what is the reason you want to continue to make the same money? Okay, because all the people working with union, we have better life, okay, better insurance, better respect, okay, in asking what is the reason, okay. What
they're scared.
You want to stay scared for your life, because okay, for your life. That's what you want to tell. What is the reason you are scared? Scared to the boss? Scared you make the same money always? Okay. You don't have better life for your future. Okay. You need to tell what is the reason. Okay. You don't moving. Okay.
Well, they're scared, but you know what? The only way people stand out when they control their fears, their own fears. The
And
union
fight.
never will exist.
And
But
fight.
we all was scared at one point, you know, to go strike or to make a big decision. But you have to continue talking to them. And if you're a leader and you give it confidence and you showing with your example about you know how to be scared, if you want to change your future, you have to control your fears. It's the only way. Because people have a scare, but they have to control their fears. I want to recognize this panel. They have more than 40, 36, 32, more than 3 decades, you know, being in the fight. When the union was in the humongous battles in the 90s, when, you know, nobody respect us, no politician, no police, no nothing. You guys doing an incredible job because you protect the union, you take care of the union, you have great leaders, and you're gonna make the stronger union we ever have because Las
The
Vegas
future.
gonna
You
have
are the future.
80,000 members here, you know, Vegas. We have to be stronger and stronger. Okay, guys? Thank you so much. Thank you.